feel like there's times in my life where it just wasn't gonna happen. And there was real times when I was younger where it just, none of this would have been possible. I need a bit of time to slow down and appreciate what is happening and that things are going well. Because this like taking on the stress is good and it's good, but I think there is a breaking point. And we're like, no, it's not time yet. If it ever gets like to the point where it's so stressful, it's not worth it, well, you just have to stop it because it's not worth being unhappy. Don't want to feel chained to something.
Yeah. Hello and welcome back to the podcast. I'm Lloyd and this is a 21st Century Tattoo. Cool.
Happy rolling.
Sweet. Luke, it's been a good couple of days, man. I've really enjoyed this guest spot.
Yeah, sweet.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for coming.
It's been good.
Yeah,
let's get this kicked off.
Yeah, do it. Go on.
So, I mean, I would say like a lot of people like right now would consider you, me included, would consider you like a pioneer in the industry right now, for sure. I guess I want to know like, how do you deal with that pressure, you know, and like, how does it make you feel?
Pioneer. It's a big one. I don't know. I don't think, I mean, it's very, very nice of you to say. Pioneer of the industry, it's pretty mental. Yeah, because I don't feel like that at all, really. Just feel like I've had a pretty standard sort of tattoo start, I guess. Like my apprenticeship was, as everyone else's was, a bit rubbish in a small town, small shop. Guy didn't really know what he was doing. So I feel like I've just worked my way through and I've just been slowly building up. So pioneer is a big one. I feel like pioneer is a big word. But yeah, it's nice. I feel it's nice if you feel like that. But
yeah, man. I mean, 100%. Like you're doing something different, you know, like what's the definition of a pioneer, you know, like kind of at the forefront of stuff.
Sounds like a pirate to me.
For me, that's how it feels, you know, like I've seen you like from even before I got into tattooing, and like to see your work, and now you've kind of really honed that niche. Like you are a master at your craft, like, and I will quite happily say that, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of people that agree. So yeah, I guess like, yeah.
I mean, like obviously the palm tattooing is great and is really like, I love doing it. I really enjoy doing it. It was a thing that sort of happened quite naturally. Like it wasn't like I decided I'm gonna like niche this thing. It just sort of was, the story of it was my friend asked me to tattoo his palms. We were working in a street shop. It was raining. No one was coming through. So we were like, okay, sweet. He was getting so many tattoos. Sorry. And he was like, is
that the first time you'd ever done palms?
Yeah, he just was like, do you want to do my palm? And I was like, absolutely not. And then he was like, go on, we're not doing anything. And I was like, oh, all right then.
One of them.
And he was like, he's a good friend, like my best mate at the time. He was the apprentice at the shop. And he was like, let's do it. So we did it. And I think I didn't want to hurt him. So I don't think I went deep enough. And I think when I was doing it, I knew I wasn't going deep enough. And I could sort of feel it wasn't going where it needed to be. And then he was like, okay, I'll let you do the other one. Because I said to him when I finished, I was like, that's not looking, even then I could tell like it's not done what I think it really needs to do.
Even just like visually, you could see it.
Yeah, it just was like, it just looked not like it's not gone deep enough in the skin. So I was like, okay, let me do your other one. And I said to him, like, I'm just going to do it. And he was like, yeah, just do it because you've hurt me. It hurts either way. So just try your best. And man, I just really got it in there. And that one has healed perfect and it's still like so good. Like it's pretty basic and it's like, it's a bit haggard.
And that's the second one you did.
That's the second one. And I was like, oh, sick. And I really like, from there was like, that was what made me want to do more. And then I was like asking like anyone, like friends, let me do your palm. Like my two friends did I let them tattoo my palm because they let me do theirs. So it was like a like, fair enough. Like, you let me practice on you, you can practice on me. And then I was just trying to get clients involved, but again, like, hard to convince a person, like a client that doesn't know, might not be as loving to me as my friends would be if I fuck it up. So it was like, I was doing them for £50. So that was the whole, like, that was how I was like trying to
Get people in.
get more people in. And man, everyone loves a cheap tattoo. So I was like tattooing loads of people, and it was sort of like a nice understanding of being like, look, I'm going to do this tattoo. Might not be perfect. I don't really know what I'm doing. Full discretion. Like, let's see how it goes. And it's £50. And I was doing like their whole palms, like whatever they wanted, I would be like, yeah, I'm going to try. Some of them went well, some of them didn't. And that was perfect, because I then wouldn't do that thing again. And then I would like slowly build up to like weaving the path of like what would work and what wouldn't work and what needles are best, and how like I was also like opening the needles at the start with like a lighter, just like put the lighter through it, pop it open.
So have you always been using like needle bars and with coils then?
It's always coils.
Fine.
I think I started with coils. I've stick to coils. I think I had Rotary Works. I feel like that's everyone's start of tattooing as well. It's like a Mickey Sharps and a Rotary Works.
I was at Mickey Sharps. That's why I was using when I began.
Yeah, I love them. I think they're good. I started in 2010, and I had only one machine for everything for the first 4 years of my career. I was just changing the thing every time.
Yeah.
And pretty like sometimes I was tuning it, sometimes I wasn't tuning it. So like my lines, and then I'd like just get a mag out.
Way too
but I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, so I was like, man, no one's shown me anything. So it kind of worked, but I think my lines were definitely better because I had like the Mickey Sharps micro dial liner, and that was pretty good. And then so then I've always used coils, and then just kept trying stuff, kept the coils, and then I actually found Vlad Blad tattoo machines, and they're really good. I don't know where I first saw them, but they do quite gimmicky. They were doing like gimmicky ones, which was cool. Like they did like Adventure Time coil machines and stuff, and like I saw that, and then bought like some cool ones that I thought they were like black and gold machines with like Louis Vuitton looking wraps. So I was like, whoa, that's a nice machine. Yeah. And then they're so good, and I haven't looked back, and that's all I use now really. Like,
who introduced you to the Vlad Blad stuff?
What, their machines?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember. I think I just saw them as a machine and was like, yeah, they're sick. I just got them. Yeah, man. I'm bad for it. All my money ever would go straight back to tattooing. So I was like always living at home. So I was quite lucky because I live in London and my dad lived in London. So we were living together, and that was sweet. So all of my money, I'd pay him rent, but I wasn't paying like stupid London rent. I was paying my dad money. So all of the money, I'd buy a new machine. I'd buy this, I'd buy that. So I was just trying stuff out all the time. So then, and then I found Vlad Blad and was like, yeah, these are great. I'm only using these.
That's it. There's the recurring theme like throughout is just like trial and error. Do you know what I mean? Whether that's with machines or with just like palms. Any tattoo artist listening to this knows, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like people coming into the industry nowadays think that it's like you're going to pick it up straight away and you're going to be sick.
Yeah.
And it's like, it does take that, you know, but like to see that the first palm not go so well and then see improvement in the second one. And then.
Oh yeah. But it was like, it was almost like the second one went really well. And then these were not. And they're all on my Instagram as well. Like you can scroll all the way back and my first ones are on there and stuff like that. So you can almost, it's kind of nice to look like each year that's gone on, like the different change in what I'm sort of able to do and how it's healing. And I was saying that someone said to me, oh, I would have got a palm tattoo from you, but I liked it when you're doing the thicker stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, we can still do that. But yeah, it's interesting because I have definitely moved into doing a lot more finer line stuff, because back then that was not possible. I didn't know how to like get that to stay, or to get it to like drag through the palm without just going, or like yeah.
I've literally got so many questions about the technicality.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
We
does
can
the
do
single needle like slice the skin, or does it just not go in? Or
the
all of this sort of stuff?
sometimes I use a single needle cartridge, and generally I'll use it if I use grey, because it's gonna heal, but it's not like it's gonna slice, like it's gonna cut through. It's got to get through all these thick layers of skin. It's just gonna go. It's got to get to the sweet spot, and then come back out while still being consistent. But it wants to just do that and chug, and then that's where you get like an inconsistent line. So sometimes I'll use it, but only if I really need to, because I've started doing some things that maybe I should start saying no to some things, but I don't really want to say no to stuff because I'm like, I couldn't do it.
And what sort of stuff's that?
I've done like maybe like faces and stuff. Like I did a Lost Boy tattoo that was really cool and it went really well, and that was quite an iconic film, so you can guess who it is without it needing all the stuff.
Yeah. But like, you're not going to start whacking out like a baby portrait on a palm. You know what I mean?
Someone asked me for that once, actually.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, absolutely not. Because I don't think I've ever, that's one thing I don't think I've ever done properly as a portrait. It just absolutely terrifies me to like imagine someone's, yeah. I did when I was an apprentice. The guy was like, oh, go on, he was doing, this woman literally had like Wizard of Oz tattoos all over her back, and he was like, oh, go on, just have a go. I was doing, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Better than what he was doing, to be fair.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, their portraits are terrifying.
But yeah, we're not doing that on a palm. I like it's a challenge. It's a challenge to get like a portrait on there, or even just like, so one recently I did was a basket of fruit and veg, and there's loads of details in it. So I used a one for that.
Yeah.
And there's like on like a bit of corn that's like that big, and I'm like super inside this vegetable.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like we let it heal and we see, and I'd prefer to do a touch up and see if it can be achieved.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to look good either way, but I would like to take my time with it and see if it's how it's going to look, if it's going to, and do it in grey as well, because I kind of just sometimes want to build up the grey.
Yeah.
Don't know, because it's as well like,
that's it, but you have to wait and you have to like see how it's going to heal.
Yeah, and I feel quite confident in that, and I feel quite happy with doing that. But then there's also, and I explain that to my client, I'm like, look, I'd like, let's do a touch up. If they're like traveling, then I'll just bang it, and I'll make it as solid as possible, so they don't have to do a touch up. But if they're like in London, it's like, yeah, cool. But yeah, I know, and I explain it to my client, but sometimes like all the internet is like, oh, well, that's not healed well. And I'm like, mate, that's healed just how I wanted it to heal. So I didn't want that line to be super solid, because when you look back at it, you can see the different line weights, and you can see like that bit of corn does not need a big black line around it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's some things that don't need like really heavy structure to it. It just needs a bit of like, just almost a suggestion of that's what's there. So,
and in grey wash as well, 100%. Like,
yeah,
I always try and say that as well when I'm doing bits, is that like you have to introduce, it's not all going to be black. There are lights, and you'll see as it starts to heal, those greys will slowly soften. Yeah. And let's do a touch up. Let's normalize the touch up. It's easy, because everyone's like, it has to be perfect straight away. Sorry. And then it's like, man, like maybe it's not going to be perfect straight away, because I would prefer, don't know. Like I feel like I do like to post my heel stuff, and I like to have it. I've been posting a bit recently about touch ups, because someone posted my tattoos in reverse, and I was like, man, it was weird. They like posted a sharing page, posted a tattoo like it was healed as fresh.
I'd done a touch up on this tattoo.
Oh right.
And then they posted the touch up of it nice before, and then before being like, this is how it heals after a touch. And I was like, mate, like, come on.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah. I was just like, And in the comments, they were like being really shady about it. And I was like, well, then don't post my work. You're trying to post my work to be like, I mean, I'm grateful for you posting me. And I think like any attention is good attention, whatever. But I was like, it's not good attention if you're,
don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know what you're talking about, and you're in the comments like saying my stuff doesn't heal nice, I feel like that's the point I step in and be like, actually, no. And I put up a post being like, this is how stuff heals. This is the reality of it. This is a good heal. This is a bad heal. This is going to be touched up. This is now after the touch up. It's a tattoo. And I'm not claiming I'm perfect. And I'm not claiming every tattoo is like 100% every time. Tattoos, not palm tattoos, need a touch up. Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
you have to expect that 100%.
Yeah.
How do you we were actually talking a little bit about this yesterday, last night, about like, obviously with you being quite like prevalent on socials, there are going to be people that are going to be sharing and trying to give their opinion. How do you dealing with all of that shit?
Oh, I love it. I love it and I don't love it. I think people sometimes try and get a rise out of me, and I think everyone wants to be right on the internet. Everyone wants to be like the know-it-all of anything. So some like tattoo artist from the middle of nowhere is like, oh, I've been tattooing 37 years and this has never been, I've never done a healed one. It's like, yeah, mate, maybe you should do some more of them. Or maybe because I've focused just on this for the part. Yeah. So people have always got something to say. It doesn't bother me. I think.
Did it used to?
No.
I feel like it's quite hard to not, it's quite hard to not take it personally sometimes.
I think I used to get more like arsey about it. But I think I've been pretty chill with it. Like I know what I'm doing. I think there's definitely times where I feel like, but it's more to myself, and I feel like I'm very critical of myself anyway. Like always have been. That's why I'm trying to do it better. And I think that's why I really try. I'm very honest and I've tried my best to do everything for the client and for my work. So it's like, if I'm doing my best, I don't like, that's your opinion, my friend. Like you can go over there with that because I'm just doing my best. If I'm doing my best, my client knows I'm doing the best. If I'm doing a tattoo, doing a tattoo 50 quid, it's been explained. And yeah, I don't know, the comments, they're pretty funny. We said yesterday, like there was one guy that like was a tattoo artist and he was like, this is not going to heal. This shouldn't be done, about like a white palm tattoo. And I was like, well, like, and other people were replying to him being like, well, look at his page. And he was like, no, this is not been done. This can't be done. I've been tattooing X amount of time. Yeah. Being like super like heavy on other people's comments. And I always stay out of it. I don't care. Like you can comment whatever you want. You're making that post good for the sharing page and making it good for me. It's whatever.
That's it.
So
at the end of the day, the work speaks for itself,
And I just replied to this guy and was like, man, why are you knocking me for trying something that's not been done? And we work in the same industry, so it's a bit off that you're like gunning for people in your own industry trying. You also do black and grey, so you can't see any palm tattoos on your page. I'm not coming here telling you how to do a black and grey tattoo because I can't. Not to your level. He's a good tattoo artist. I'm not saying my black and grey is as good as his. You know what I mean? So I was just like a bit weird. I think that's like the only time I've got involved in it recently. So yeah, but I think you're always going to come up against criticism, and I have got a big page, and yeah, I don't know. I've got a kind of I guess I've got a bit of a thick skin to it because it doesn't matter. You're not real people to me. You're not in my life. Like my friends and the people I work with I know I'm trying my best. So if you're going to comment, that's not going to heal. Is that all right, mate? Yeah. Sweet.
100%. Do you say you've been in the industry, what, like 12 years now then?
I guess so, yeah.
You've had like a while to develop like thick skin, man.
Yeah, but I think I've got quite a thick skin to the like comments and stuff like that. But this is the thing, is that I've been in the industry a long time. I guess I don't really feel like that. 10 years is a long time, but I don't feel like I'm any different from How long have you been tattooing? Like
Going into 6 years.
Yeah.
So I'm like hardly half.
and then we've got people here that have been doing it like 2 years, and I feel like they're like, I feel like it is a hard one. I've got a thick skin, I guess, but I don't ever feel like I don't put myself on this pedestal, because I feel like there's so many people doing such amazing stuff. I can't do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're like soft, fine liney stuff. Like I can't be doing that. And like Tyler's geometric stuff, like it's so on point. There's so many people that do loads of stuff, and that's why it's nice to work with other people. And I still feel like a little baby, like excited to see stuff, and like, yeah, I don't know, because as well, like I've been from watching everything. Like it's nice to see the evolution of tattooing from my point of view as this from like 10 years ago, but then tattooing is not 10 years old. Tattooing's like electric tattooing is however old. Like it's, so yeah, even like saying like the pioneer thing is like mental to me, because I haven't done anything. I just have a big Instagram, which is a big part of like current tattooing, I guess. Like it's how everyone sees your work, and is a big thing, and it like opens. I love Instagram. I think it's great. I think there's definitely bad things to it, but I think for me personally, it's really worked for my favor, and it's opened a lot of doors to me when I was younger and I was learning to tattoo. Like I just wanted to travel. I think that was the dream. It's like, imagine being able to go on holiday on like a guest spot to like Spain or to like Germany, and then now I'm doing it, and it's great, and I get to earn money and see friends, make friends in other countries, and work in other conventions. Like it just
Bro, it's literally the best job in the world.
It's unreal. It's the best job ever, and that's how I feel so lucky to be a part of it. And also, yeah, I love doing the palms, and yeah, I even feel very lucky with that, you know. Like there's Mark Walker, whose Instagram is like Walker X. He does palm tattoos, and he was doing it before me. I was like looking at his work like, oh, this is insane. And I actually hadn't seen his work before my friend asked me, but then obviously did my friend, and then started like looking into it a bit more, and his stuff's great. It's still great. It looks amazing. And luckily, just so happened, he moved to America as I sort of started getting a little bit of a reputation for it. So he was the main guy in England doing it, and then he moved to America. So I was sweet.
Yeah, I was literally going to ask you this, like who was maybe your inspiration for that and getting into that style? And it was probably him. Yeah,
I mean, I definitely looked up to his work.
Still different though.
Yeah, his stuff's cool, man. Like it's got a lot more of a traditional background, I guess, like a bit of neo, like he does like neo roses and stuff. Yeah, he was definitely an inspiration. There's a guy, I was just interested in all palm tattoos. Like there's a guy that's done my palms called Brody Polinsky, did these two, and he did my first palm tattoo because I was doing people's and didn't have one done, and it was actually my first ever like visible tattoo, because I'd like promised my family I would never get it done, and like would never.
The palms were your first one?
No, your first visible one. Yeah.
Oh my days.
Yeah, my nana was very upset. Bless her.
In at the deep end there. It was like just meant to be then.
Yeah, no, that was it. That one. But he was a big inspiration for, and he was really kind. Like I went, and he was from Berlin, but he was just skating in London. I see on his story, and I was like, "Are you in London?" And he was like, "Yeah, how did you know?" I was like, "No, the street markings." And he was like, "Weird, but yeah, sweet." And I was like, "Do you have space? Can I get a tattoo?" And he was like, "Yeah, sweet, come." So I was like, "Oh, sick." So I went and did that, and I was asking him questions, and he was just showing me stuff, like really, really kind, really, really nice. And then that just really sparked it a lot. And I really like geometric tattoos. I got geometric stuff. So then his stuff's very like linear and heavy geometric. So I was trying to do a lot of that. And Mark Walker, but just all tattooing. I love tattooing so much. So I was just, I before the Palms, I was still been tattooing a long time, so I still had like my favorite artists. Like, at the time was like Valerie Vargas. Like Valerie Vargas, when I was like just started tattooing, was like unreal. She was that was like my favorite style of tattooing. I still love neo-traditional, and her work is still amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was lots of inspiration. But I feel like that's why I love palm tattoos so much, because I'm not just doing one style. Doing geometric, doing fine line, doing old school. I want to do any style. Like, people like, you not get bored of doing the palm tattoos. I'm like, man, doing different stuff all day, every day.
Do you know what, the stuff that I really like? That, yeah, you have your traditional, your neo-traditional sort of, it feels like that's your kind of trademark, but then you introduce some of this like crazy stuff. Like, what was that one I saw the other day? It was like a to-do list. And it's like these crazy, and like bringing the designs off the palm onto the finger, like as if it's one whole thing. And you are thinking outside the box. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what tattooing needs. I mean, in my opinion, I don't know how you can love tattooing without being like a creative and without that love for art, you know?
Yeah.
I guess what I would like to know maybe is like, at what point did you really, taking it back anyway, at least what point did you really realize that you had that love for art way before tattooing?
Yeah, I think when I was just a kid, I don't think I've got a very good imagination. I never played with like toys or anything like that. I just draw. I'd always have like colouring pencils and a pad, and my sister would always play with stuff, and I'd just sit there and draw, and I always did. And I think it's like I think I've always used it as like a stress thing. Like, it takes my mind off stuff, just drawing, and like
you zone out.
I don't know, I love Pokemon, and I remember always drawing Pokemon as a kid, and drawing like crystals as well. I had loads of like gemstones, so I'd always like try and replicate the thing. So that was where that sort of started. And then you go to school, I'm not very good at school stuff, so didn't do, I mean, I tried pretty hard, but just I'm dyslexic, and just wasn't happening. I actually got into uni to do psychology, but I think I got in because I had like a pretty good story of why I wanted to do it and all this stuff, and they were like, yeah, you can do it. And then I was like, actually, I'm gonna fucking hate it here, and I'm not gonna complete it. And I was already tattooing as well, so I was like, my family would like they were always very supportive, but they wanted me to have backup. They got me tattoo kit when I was 15. They just bought it for me.
Really?
I asked them, I said to them, look, I want to be a tattoo. I want to do this tattooing thing.
Where did that come from?
I don't really know. The careers advisor guy's like, yeah, you got to make a choice. And I was like, fucking hell.
This is before you've left secondary school.
I'm in like year 10 or year 11. Something.
So there must have been something that you saw, or like, was there an artist?
I was little goth. I was big time goth.
Okay.
Like, sent a party in. If I had hair, I would still be rocking that, I reckon. But I was like super goth kid, and I love Marilyn Manson and Slipknot and Korn and like all this new metal stuff. And they've all got tattoos. I was always drawing them. I was drawing like portraits of Slipknot and portraits of Marilyn Manson. I'd like go into my science lesson, I'd have like my drawing stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd just draw that. And I guess, I don't know what spurred it on. Miami Ink, and that was out at the time, but I don't even know if it was that.
Yeah. It's like, I used to watch Kerrang, like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? I felt like you're watching Kerrang and MTV, like all of the, like, a new metal, Linkin Park, Korn was the first CD I ever bought.
Korn and Scuzz, Kerrang and Scuzz. Yeah, Korn was great, because Zavi, or whatever it was, had like 2 for £10 or 2 for £8. So I was just banging all these like...
Yeah. Oh no, who was the... Was it the bassist that Limp Bizkit as well had like a mad bodysuit?
He always dresses different. He had like... he was like the first guy to have like the weird contacts.
The weird contacts. And that other fella out of... Was it Audio Son or something? No, Audio Slave.
Yeah. I don't know.
And he had like a full bodysuit of tattooing. It was that point then that I really started twigging.
Yeah. Rage Against the Machine bassist has some mental black work. Like before like heavy, strong black work was a thing. I think it's done by someone pretty like good tattoo artist. I can't remember, but he has like some heavy black work stuff before all this, like, not that it's not like, it just was like at that time, it was pretty cool to have that. So yeah, I guess from like Marilyn Manson and the music I was into, and I didn't want a job, didn't want to have what better job tattooing your mates and listening to the music you want, tattoo your mates, see your mates all day and make money. It's sweet.
Bro, it literally is. Yeah, I'm so grateful to have it.
Yeah.
Talking about these people then that are like pretty heavily tattooed, I would say that you've got quite a few. Would you say you were heavily tattooed?
Oh yeah.
Do you think there's like a stigma attached to that now? And if so, like, do you think people have like a different perception maybe of you? Because I feel like the moment they meet you and they talk to you, that perception might change. Do you think there is a perception to begin with?
I would say actually less now.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure. I think there is still, I mean, us all are quite involved in the tattoo world, so we're all like around it, but there's still people and places in the world or in the UK or London or whatever that aren't used to that. So when they do see you, they'll notice. Like me, like if I'm with Annie or my sister, they will notice people looking at me, whereas I'm like,
used to it.
Yeah, but I think there's definitely still a bit of a stigma, but less. But I feel like I am quite heavily tattooed. Like this is quite a lot. I always say when people do stare, if anyone's like, why are they staring at you? It's like I would stare at me as well. Like it's pretty nice work. Kieran's done a good job, and Kieran Williams done my. I done my done my body, done my front and my neck and that. But I would stare as well, and I don't always think it is negative. I get a lot of positive stuff. I get a lot of people like, yo, the tattoos are sweet, and I'm like, yep, thank you very much. And it's a bit awkward for me because I'm like, I don't really know what to say back. It's always just like accept a compliment and not be like, oh, thank you, really appreciate it, whatever. But I think there are definitely people that do give me like a filthy look, and that's fine. Fuck you, like don't care.
Yeah.
Like you can walk away from me. But then there's other people that when I open my mouth, I can sort of tell they're a bit nervous. And I open my mouth and they're like, oh, you're like, you're nothing to worry about. You're sweet.
Yeah. That's it.
So I feel like that's a really important thing to me is like, I'm not on a big mission to change people's opinions, but I think it is nice that I do have a lot of tattoos. Just because you have tattoos doesn't mean you're criminal or you've been to prison or anything stupid like that. I think a lot of people, loads of people have loads of tattoos. I think it's becoming a lot more acceptable. So
yeah, man. Oh no, the popularity is just outgrown, you know?
Yeah.
Looking at the work that you've got, particularly the visible stuff like on your neck and head, it looks obviously quite purposeful. Was that something that was maybe, or was it all planned in one go, or is it like quite a slow process?
I think I'm very particular. I think even when I was younger, when I was even getting my first tattoo, I was super like very aware it was forever and was like, I don't want to hate something that's there forever. So I've always been really careful. My two friends that I we all sort of like started learning around the sort of same sort of time. They were like 14 with a neck tattoo, same guy that I did his palm. 14 with a neck tattoo, 14 with a chest tattoo, and it's like, oh mate.
Yeah.
And he was just like really going for it. And then even as we were getting older, I was very like mothering to them, being like, you two need to like just wait and you can get something better.
Yeah.
And I sort of did that. Like I waited until I was 18. I've been in tattoo shops since I was 16, but I didn't let anyone tattoo me. Like, oh, my mum and dad won't let me. And I was like, But I waited and got this when I was 18, and then got my chest done with Kieran, I think when I was 19 or 20. So then I knew what was good, and I did plan them out. I got like my legs that are kind of full of like me and my friends like practicing on each other and like just trying stuff out, which is nice. I feel like tattooists got to have some. When you see someone with all nice tattoos, it's like, how have you done that? Like, they're always like start getting tattooed really late, and then they're like really particular.
I did not plan mine.
Yeah,
I got like, my parents were so against them.
Yeah,
I had like quite a religious like upbringing. Well, I didn't, not particularly. My parents were quite religious anyway, and it was like tattoos were not the thing, you know. So I guess at 18, I just went and got loads and didn't research it. Got loads of shit ones. Yeah, I know what you mean though. How can you trust, like, I don't know if you can trust a tattoo artist with like either none or shitloads of really good ones. Like, what?
Yeah, there's quite a few people with like none, and I'm like, how?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I was tattooing people when I was 16, and they were like, I don't know why. The tattoos were £20 each, so it's like, yeah, okay. But I don't know. I wouldn't trust a 16-year-old to be tattooing me.
Yeah.
And had no tattoos.
No questions asked.
Yeah.
Okay, so how, because I don't think I've asked you this, how, like, then talk me through that journey then from just drawing at school to ending up working. I think you were at South City before here, and then obviously opening this place, which we'll talk about in a bit. What was that journey there? How did you actually, who taught you and how did you end up doing it?
I knew my mum and dad bought me the kit when I was 15.
Yeah.
And then when I started using it, and it came with like a little DVD of like how to tattoo, which was sweet. I've still got them, and
Sick.
they're so bad.
Have you watched it back?
Yeah, they're
Is
really
that how
bad.
to do a palm
It's
on
like a flash DVD as well. It's like, I wish I had how to do a palm.
Yeah.
It'd be really good now.
Everyone's like, what's the secret to your success of DVD, mate?
It's just DVD. I'll send it to you. I'll rip you a copy. But yeah, did all that and then got a portfolio and went round to the shops. And obviously I was 16, so they're like, no. Went to one in my school uniform, and that was a bad idea. And then there was one, my nan, at the end of my nan's road, there was one that just opened. So she gave me the thing. I was like, go. I went. And I think the guy said, no, we've already got an apprentice. But the wife of the guy was like, go on. He's sweet. So I went there. He didn't know how to tattoo. He just opened a tattoo shop. Because he wanted to be Miami Ink. And so I didn't get taught much from him, but I did learn quite a lot of, I guess, health and safety. Like, I think not even from them teaching me that, I think, but just being in a shop, I learned like lots of sanitary stuff. Left there before I was 18 because it was just chaos, and then moved to a different shop. And so they said I qualified my apprenticeship, but there's never like they gave me like a Microsoft Publisher printout with like little emoji, like icon. Yeah, it was weird.
So congratulations.
And I was like, even then I was like, what the fuck is this? Like,
yeah. Have you still got that?
I might
I'd love to see that.
I have to ask Annie. We had like a big clear out, so maybe we'll find it.
Well done. You are now a tattoo artist.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but it was sweet. I was pretty young, and I was proud. I was still like happy. But then I moved to a different shop and was like, I'm a tattoo artist now, and had to like. It's a big jump going from apprentice to you're now just doing walk-ins, and walk-in shops is stressful. So did that. So I went to Eltham, then went to Lewisham, and then just moved, went to Sydenham with my friend Leanne. It was a really, really good time. I feel like that's where I really like grew as a person as well, because I've got to think like I'm pretty young. I was really shy in shops. And I feel like I got a lot more confidence in that shop. I was almost like, it was owned, her name's Leanne Kerr, and she owns Delilah's Dagger now. It was called Sydenham Ink at the time, and Sydenham. And yeah, I was able to be myself. It wasn't like the first guy that was teaching me was like just insane, like anger management, too much.
Yeah.
And then the second guy was like cokehead. So he was just like literally taking his cut and would call the dealer to come to the shop and drop him. And he'd always say to me like, oh, you're boring. It's like, bruv, I've just turned 18. I'm not coming to your house to do drugs, you weirdo. And he'd have like other people. I was like, anyway, so just like get away from that. So then I was like going with Leanne, and it was really sweet. And she really like, we both sort of like growing up, learning together, and just her like first business and that. And we had a really good time. And then moved to a different shop in Bromley, and that was a good time as well, working with my mate Stash and Stu. And that was good. And then that sort of like played its course out a bit. And then I went to South City, and that was really good. And that was like the first private shop I'd worked at. And it was a really different environment that I'd never been in before.
Yeah.
It was almost like, don't really know how to describe it, because I feel like all the shops I've been in before,
traditional and walk-in, and then what?
Sort
South
of-
City felt a bit more
I feel
contemporary.
like, yeah, but it was more, this was another level of tattooing.
Right.
Whereas all this other stuff was, not to play it down, but it was like street shop, high streets. Whereas this, what Ricky was building was like a really good thing. And it was like, I felt the energy from it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really exciting to go to that.
How did that happen?
He just sent me a text.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I just sort of started getting a bit of a following. I think I'd got to like 10K on Instagram, and I was in Berlin a lot.
Guessed in.
No. I think I'd just been out there, and yeah, I was sort of like, things were changing in my life, in my personal life a lot, and I was like, the text came at the right time. I feel like there's always like, at the end of a shop, there's always like a moment of like, there needs to be a change, and then the change comes.
Happens.
And
it's like one door literally closes,
Yeah.
another opens.
Yeah. And I was almost like, I feel like the universe really dropped me a solid there. So I was like, sweet. And I took it. It was either I moved to Berlin or I go to London, move to South City. So I did that, and it was really good. I was working with Loz Thomas and Loz Tattooer
Yeah.
at the back, which was, I feel like that was one of the best times ever. It was such good, I feel like us three together was really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We were just out the back, and it was like not a massive room. They had their 2 beds, and I had my little armrest, and every day we were just like all smashing work, and it was really good to be like around.
Yeah.
Like my other friends were just like not bothered about anything, and like, whereas I come there and Loz seemed really like up for doing stuff, and we were always doing stuff. Ricky was like pushing stuff, and
Yeah.
it was going well, and then obviously all of our followers started going well, and it was like,
It just
this
felt
whole
like
big thing
everything was kind
felt
of
really
like
good.
in tune. Yeah.
It felt really good. So then that's how that happened, and started to do some guest spots, started messaging some places, and they messaged me, so that started going really well. And then that was all pretty sweet. And then obviously the lockdown then happened. Sort of things changed at the shop. Things changed in
Right,
general for like a lot of people.
life, yeah, man.
Yeah, I think it all just changed for everyone. So me and Annie spent a lot of time together, and we sort of decided that we wanted to make a shop on our own. So that's what we did, and we left South City. And then we just slowly built what we are doing now.
Yeah.
And
Which is fucking impressive.
yeah, I'm really, really, really happy with the space and what we're doing. I feel really good about it. So
Yeah.
I'm glad. Everything happens for a reason. Like, no matter if the first shop I started in was like rubbish, whatever, like you get through it, and then whatever, all these things you overcome, and you go through stuff, and you're learning all the way. Like, you're learning like how you don't want to be, how you don't want to treat people, how you want things to
Who you
run,
want to work with, who you don't want to work with.
exactly.
Yeah, it's
And,
a
like,
process, man.
and I feel like, I've been doing it for 10 years, but there's still learning stuff all the time. And I feel like now is the right time for me to have a shop. And I feel like I've learned a lot of how I've been treated. I don't want to treat people wrong, and how when I've been treated well, I want to give them that same feeling. So I'm glad, and me and Annie are doing it together. So that's a really nice thing, that it's not just me. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah, really, really happy with the shop, and yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah, man. It always gets me that.
Yeah.
And it's so energetic as well. He goes for it. So, yeah, what or who do you value most in life, do you think?
Oof, straight in there.
Mm.
What or who? My mum,
Yeah.
I think, is a big one. Family's really, really big to me. Like, really, my sister. So my mum, my sister, my dad, really, really close. So that I value them a lot. My sister's got 3 little kids and they're unreal. Any day off I get, I'm going to go and spend it with them. Yeah, family's really, really big. But then what or who, tattooing is a lot. I think you said on some of your other podcasts, like during COVID, you felt a bit lost, and it's the same for me. Like I felt really,
oh man,
like I love tattooing, and it was not, lockdown was sweet for a bit, and then I was like, I get a real buzz from tattooing.
Yeah,
like
purpose.
Yeah, man, and I really love the routine of it. Like you got to do the drawing, then you meet the client. There's that social side of it, and you do a nice tattoo, it's sweet. And then the after bit is also nice because then you've done a good tattoo, you show people in a shop, or like, yeah, you're proud of it, you put it on Instagram, whatever. It's like a whole thing that's nice. But then there's, I really get a big buzz on doing a tattoo. Like sometimes I'm thinking about getting one of these cameras, but I don't know how good it's going to be because I wear a headlamp already. So I'm just going to be a freak with like all this shit on my head. But I want to get, sometimes I'm like pulling a line, I'm like, fucking hell, this is sick.
This
like,
is crispy.
Yeah, some bits are just like, especially because it's on a palm, like some of it's really gnarly. Yeah. And I'm like, whoa, this is wild.
Is anyone seeing this?
Yeah, sometimes I just wish Annie was just like there at that moment. And sometimes I want to call her, but I'm like, I'm not going to call her. Because if I call her, I'm going to fuck it up.
I'll tell you what, Annie's got some camera work though. Like, good look back at the stuff and it's got all this like twist.
Oh yeah, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah, and it's always at the right time as well.
Oh yeah, man. I was like, when we started the shop, I was like, I'm going to do the Instagram. Look, I'm going to like try and do this stuff. And I was like, actually, I'm pretty shit at this. So Annie's like master of the camera. So
yeah. No, she's got it. You guys have just like you've got it unlocked. It's sick. No. Bro, what do you think is the most important lesson then, up to date, that you've learned in life?
Don't be just be nice. Just take a minute. And I think I need to learn that as well, but just take a minute. Just be nice. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Like I meet some people and I'm like, why have you chosen to be like that today? You don't need to be like that. And it's almost like, who brought you up to be like that? Because just be normal. Just be nice. And like in here, it's like we're always really, really nice with everyone. And yeah, just a life lesson is just be nice. It doesn't take much time.
Yeah, particularly like in a work environment, like it is. I feel like with this job, it's quite easy to forget how stressful it is, and I feel like we all kind of just like what we are doing is quite stressful. God knows you doing it on palms is fucking stressful. But like, yeah, you have to be able to separate that and not take it out on people. Yeah, and then now owning a studio, like, it's stressful, isn't it?
Oh yeah, owning stressful. Owning the studio is mega stressful.
Yeah,
but it comes with new stresses I didn't know existed, which is fun as well. Like I talk with Annie about it a lot, and sometimes we are talking about it and we're like, should we just stop doing this now? Like it's too much. Like that's like nothing to do with like being nice to people. This is just the stress of the shop. Is like, should we just pack it all in? And we're like, no, it's not time yet. If it ever gets like to the point where it's so stressful, it's not worth it, well, you just have to stop it because it's not worth being unhappy. Don't want to feel chained to something.
Yeah.
But it is stressful. And I think you got to take that stress and use that stress as, turn it into like hard work and positive. Like we are pushing ourselves every single day. But then at the end of the week, we look back and we're like, fuck, we've done so much stuff and we've like achieved all this stuff. And yeah, it was stressful, but like, here it is. Here's the results of staying that extra hour, staying the extra 2 hours to clean, to make this a nice space, doing this stuff, messaging these people, making sure they're comfortable, like all this stuff. Takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort, and it's a lot of stress. But I think me and Annie together sort of, I wouldn't be doing it if Annie wasn't doing it. If Annie wasn't here, I wouldn't do it. And I think she feels the same. Like, I take my hat off to people doing it on their own. Like Mikey or Mike Stout. Me and him talk all the time. And I feel like me and him have got really, really good friendship he's just started a business as well. And me and him will talk about stuff. And if he's stressed, we talk. If I'm stressed, we can talk. And it's good to sometimes it's just good to talk to someone about it. But me and Annie talk about stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So you get stressed out.
How do you do that, man? Because I know I spoke to you. I feel like you maybe taking your working days down a little bit in order to be able to focus a bit more on the shop. Like how do you? I love to know this with people about how you achieve balance, because God knows
I have no balance. No. There is no balance. I think this is a really big thing. Is we are really searching for it. At the moment, we don't have a manager. Annie's the manager, but Annie's also the cleaner. I'm the cleaner. We're wearing like many hats. So it's sort of, there is no balance. Like, I don't go to the gym. I don't eat right. I don't sleep. Like, I'm still drawing and tattooing and blah, blah, blah. I literally just love Pokemon. I love Pokemon so much. So any like spare money I have, Pokemon. And I literally open Pokemon cards and collect it. And that's my little thing that actually does keep me going. But I know there's balance. I know I need to eat right. I know I need to sleep. But like I was saying, it's just I know what needs to be done. The stress, I just got to take it on.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're trying to find ways to reduce that. And that's not always easy to find, but we're just sussing it out. And because it is just me and Annie, we're working it out. We've never owned, I've been tattooist for a long time. Owning a tattoo shop is completely different. You now have like responsibilities and like responsibilities.
People take it for granted. Like, I've worked in plenty of shops. I've only just very recently I have my own. Yeah. And there are, like you said, there are like a million things that you just don't even think about. Like, you just think like someone, when someone just stocks the cupboard up full of gloves and like does the killer ink gloves and does all this stuff. Yeah. And it's like, only when, if you don't stay on top of it, and then someone comes in and they're like, where's the cling film?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it's all like hell's broke loose.
Yeah. And it's on your shoulders then, and you've got like, these people to look after.
Man, I feel like this is where Annie deserves a big, like, she's unreal. Everything is done. She does so well with everything. Even me, that I'll be like, wow, where's this? And she's like, I've done it. I'm like, oh, sweet. Thanks. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because she's just so on top of it.
They say behind every great man is a great woman, don't they? You know what I mean? It's the truth, man.
Yeah. No, and then within her own right, she's the boss. Like, yeah, she knows what she's doing. She's not been in the tattoo industry a long time. She was the manager at South City, and she's been working like in Apple before. So it's just like, she's just a very switched on person. She knows what she's doing, and she does a very, very good job. Yeah. And she's really good with people. I feel like me and her both really, feel like we're very similar in some ways, very different in some ways. So I feel like together we've got like covering a lot of bases. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Like, I presume then, well, I'll ask you, I'm not going to put words in your mouth. What would you say then maybe is like your biggest achievement to date?
Biggest achievement? To be honest, just being here and just doing stuff.
Having this place.
Yeah. Just anything. I feel like there's times in my life where it just wasn't going to happen. And there was real times when I was younger where none of this would have been possible. I had really, really, really severe OCD where I couldn't be around anyone's like spit or blood or anything like that would really freak me out. And it was really extreme. Like, I stopped going to school, all this stuff. So for me now, to be covered in blood every day is unreal. And it's, yeah, if you'd have told like...
How did that happen? How did you...
The OCD? Or,
well, no, but how did you like turn that on its head? So
I had like a lot of like therapy stuff and CBT stuff where they like make you do stuff. It was super weird, man. They'd like make me like lick a shoe and like, yeah, fucking weird. But it works because they force you to do something to like show you that like this isn't gonna kill you, and you can do that, and it's not gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, lots of that, and I don't know, was a tough one. So yeah, just being here, being able to tattoo. I know people that still have this OCD, and they're like 30 plus, and they don't leave the house. And it's like, man, I'm literally going out. Got good friends. I go out, party. I can do anything. Sweat like blood. It's fine.
Yeah.
And that's just like, I have such a good life. I get to travel, see my friends, do all this good stuff, and that could have not been a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's probably it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well, I mean, I can see that you're kind of all over the place. I don't quite know how, from someone looking at it externally, like you look like you're in Germany all of the time and you're doing this guest and you're all over the place. Like, I don't know how you achieve it. But like, with that being said, is there maybe one thing that you wish you could do more of?
I wish I could do more of. I think I need to chill, to be fair. I think I need this balance thing. I need a bit of time to slow down and appreciate what is happening and that things are going well. Because this like taking on the stress is good and it's good. But I think there is a breaking point. So I definitely want to slow down and find more time for me and Annie. Because it is like, it's good. And there's not like, we work really hard and that's really good. But still my girlfriend. I want to still have like a nice time together.
Without having to think about
without just, like we're going away next week for like 4 days. And we both said like, look, we're not going to talk about the shop. We're not going to sort of like, we never do like the phones off thing, but I think we're just going to.
I was going to say, is that even possible? Like,
oh no, I love it.
Because I do this. I'm like, I'm like this weekend, or we're going like date night, you know.
Yeah.
All I'm doing is like, so they're just doing emails and it's like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think it's nice, but then I think we're the same. But I think there's times where I think it's been building up so that now that's the aim. We're going away for Annie's birthday, so
yeah. Nice. Where are you off?
We're going to Marbella for like
decent.
yeah. Should be nice.
Yeah, banging.
Yeah.
Have you been there before?
Yeah.
What's the plan?
Fuck all. Literally sea, pool, nothing.
Yeah,
eat some nice food. I love food, so
nice. Yeah, I've got no holidays this year.
No, really?
Nothing.
Yeah,
I've resigned myself literally at the start of the year. I was like, I'm not going on holiday this year. Get on with it. I went away twice last year, so it's fine. It is what it is, you know. So yeah, I don't actually think we've covered Aura 94.
Oh, yeah.
Like the building, the shop itself, 9 months old?
Yeah, we got into this unit in November.
Yeah,
21.
Talk to me about the name, the branding, and how you arrived. Like how this thing.
Well, we've been planning it for a long time. Like the start of 2021, I think. Like during the middle of the lockdowns, we decided we're going to go for it. And yeah, so we're just slowly building up, and then you've got to do like contracts and all that stuff, and you have to come up with a name. And we're like, yeah, we'll think of the name. Really thinking it was just going to come to us. It did not at all. And it was like, you've got a week to write down the name of the business. It's going to be like, that's it. We're like, oh fuck. And we Aura 94 comes from, we're trying to think of like a positive word, like a nice word that's not too directly related to tattooing. And we were looking at like loads of crystal names because I've got like crystals and stuff. Annie's quite into like her like what are they called, just star signs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
horoscope.
All that stuff. We were trying to think of some names and we were like, oh, it's too weird. Can't call the shop like Amethyst or something. I don't know. It was just like, but then aura was like a word that sort of came from that. Like the aura is like energy, and we're like, oh, it's good energy. So we're like, oh, that's good. It's like 4 letters that starts with an A, ends with an A. So it's sort of like you can do a lot with the branding. There's 4 letters that you could like do some stuff with. And then 94, we're both born in 94. And I was like, it's edgy to put a number at the end. It like sounds a bit more like it's a thing.
Yeah, and then written in the word.
Yeah, just like, ooh, yeah. It's just like, we're just like, we know what it is. We know what it is.
Yeah,
but I like it, man. It's like, it's not like skulls and I don't know, anything more tattoo-y, but yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Just went for it and thought it was a nice name. 94, yeah, just trying to make it this cool thing. Fake it till you make it.
That's it. I feel like this shop, for me personally, like this epitomizes contemporary tattooing in the 21st century. What was the inspiration?
Don't know really. We just wanted a nice space to work in with. I've worked in a lot of shops, been tattooed in a lot of different shops, and this is a cool space. Like we had a bit of a say with what was happening in the building, but we knew we sort of wanted like a pretty blank canvas. And I know that we didn't really want loads of paintings on the wall and stuff like that. Just like a cool space that's almost like open to all artists, really. Like we got artist here, Charlie, who does like the most gnarly, his name's Wolf Baron on Instagram, and he does like the most gnarly swords and cool shit. And then super gnarly. And then we also have like Eloise who works here, and she's doing like really nice like girl heads and butterflies and like tulips and stuff. So just this, the idea was like to have a space that was just open for everyone. And
it's like a blank canvas, which is what every artist wants, isn't it? I guess at the end of the day.
And we just, as well, it's like, it's nice for the client. We've got a big space. It's an open space, but we've got 9 beds that each have enough space that you can have a conversation with your client and the person next to you can't really hear you. You know, like if you speak in like low voices, people open up during the tattoo. So whatever, like if they're getting deep and having a chat or whatever, it's fine. And yeah, I just wanted it to be, I go and guest in a shop called Der Grimm, and they have loads of different artists there. So I wanted a shop that like you can walk around and see loads of different stuff going on, learn loads of different stuff, loads of different styles of tattooing, but it's all under one roof. So that was sort of to not pigeonhole it, that it's just the traditional shop, or I don't know, because then everyone can have everything. We just like it. I like it soft and not intimidating.
Yeah.
Want it to be like a nice space for people to come to.
And the location as well.
Location's unreal.
Sick.
It's like, super nice. Like it's right by the train station, right by the O2. For Southeast, I've always lived in Southeast. Like this is the best spot because it's got the underground. So
yeah. And you're like, we're right on the peninsula, you know, you're like next to the O2. It's a vibe. Like I've been here for the last 2 days on a guest spot and being able to just go out. There's like food places and like this is the
there's
sort
always
of
something
stuff.
going on.
That's it. And that's that. I feel like that's the appeal for London. And for me, like obviously there are some incredible artists across the UK as well as everywhere else. But for London itself, like the vibe for tattooing, it just kind of feels like the one, you know?
Yeah. Round here's, I've always lived around here, and Central is expensive as well. So this was good for us that we can do. This is expensive, but you know, like this in Central London doesn't exist. No. This space is really cool. Like when we viewed it, they said there was going to be like a spiral staircase, and we were like, yeah, unreal. Like we'll take it. Like we were like 100%. Like never seen anything like it, especially in London. It's really impressive. It's got a big like wow factor to it. We can do what we want in here. Great. Yeah. Which is not, there's loads of great shops in London, but I like ours because I don't know, it's a big space that there's no tattooing up here. We've just got a nice table for people to sit and draw at. Really nice big waiting area. So like if people run over with their clients, which I do, everyone does, they're happy, they're content. We've just got enough space. Like we can move all this stuff out. We can do like galleries, and we want to do like events and like collaborate with people. So that was like a big thing of like getting this space because we just want to evolve and keep doing stuff. So that was
Talk to me about collaborations and sponsors and bits and pieces. Like, have you got any like interesting collabs on the go at the moment? And obviously I know you're sponsored by Vlad Blad. Talk to me about those bits.
So sponsored with Vlad Blad, and they're a really good company. Met them at the Milan convention. and was introduced by a friend who owns the Grim, Felix, and they were just like, oh, we really love your work. And I was like, mate, like your machines are the best. And then they're a Russian company, and I met Vlad Blad, like, which is kind of weird because it's called Vlad Blad, but it's like a big company. But it's just like, it was kind of weird. It's like,
what's he like?
Super nice, just super Russian. Doesn't know much English, like doesn't know hardly any English, and I don't know any Russian. So just like, he was like, your work is really good, and I was like, oh, your machines are really good. And we like got like a really awkward photo together, and that was it. And it's sweet, and they're super nice. They're the only people that I'm sponsored by. I think I've had a lot of people will offer to sponsor me for stuff, but I haven't really taken it up because I feel like it's quite a big responsibility to promote all these different things all the time, and I wanted to keep it quite concise. Like, I do shout them out in like every single post and that, and I'm really proud to be sponsored by them. So that's that.
I feel like I was having a chat with Matt Stops a few episodes back, and it was like we were talking about he'd been approached by a few, and it's like how you have to be you want to handpick, you know, and it has to be some people that you feel really represent you and what you stand for, because you don't want it to feel diluted and feel like you're just doing it for the sake of it. Yeah,
I kind of feel like, I mean, each to their own, but I know that some friends have told me they're sponsored by people when they get like 10% off or 20% off, and I'm like, is it worth it? Like, yeah, I don't know, maybe, but just pay it, mate. You get money, so don't worry.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Have you got your eyes on any sponsors in particular?
I wanted to be sponsored by Dark Fruits, and they completely shut me down, mate. Calling them out now. Where are you? Because I stopped drinking them.
Oh, we're actually genuinely talking about.
Oh
Strongbow.
yeah, no, it was, I messaged him. Oh mate, there was a big time. I only drink Strongbow. And I said I was going to get a tattoo of them on my thumb as well. And I wanted an Adidas and a Strongbow logo.
Well, I'm going to send this to
send it to them.
Yeah.
Come for me. Let's do a collab. We've got big space now.
Do you know what I mean? I'll tattoo the fucking Archer on my face.
They do tattoo stuff. This is why I was like, oh, it's so perfect. And we messaged them, and they were like, oh, at this time, no. And I was like, oh, that's a shame. And yeah, I would.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to be.
I love that. Not even tattoo related. I just want one of them.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Love
Dark Fruits, Pokemon. That'd be. I know a friend that gets sent free Pokemon stuff, and I'm very jealous. But,
Bro, you talk about Pokemon. I used to collect Pokemon cards. Obviously, I don't know who didn't. I used to have this massive Pokemon tin of cards. And I don't know whether for the life of me it's gone, but I can guarantee that there would have been some absolute bangers in there.
I sold them.
You think about how much they might have been worth now, like the originals.
Even a client showed me, he was like, oh, I've got all my old ones at home. And there was a few good ones in there. And he was like, I'll sell them to you. And I was like, I'd probably give you like 50 quid because they're just not worth that much. And I said, I'd probably give you like 50 quid, but I think you should keep them. Like, they're so nostalgic. Like, you probably just, even if you look through them every now and then, it's a nice thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I'm obsessed with it.
Let's get nerdy and talk about the equipment.
Let's do it.
I haven't asked you yet, and I guess there will be artists listening to this that will want to know
the artists,
the artists'
the
secrets,
good stuff,
the magic tricks.
Yeah.
Obviously, the main question first of all is: do palms actually really hurt that much?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, they're really bad. I've got mine are bad. They are bad, but like I was saying to you before, like they're pretty quick. Roughly, they're taking an hour and a half ish. So your body can take that to an extent. I would probably say I've had like 5 or 6 people in my whole time tap out. Maybe not even that.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the whole thing of it, is like you gotta be careful with the client. It's really painful. You can faint a lot. People faint all the time.
From the pain?
Yeah, it's just a lot. It's something you can't really prepare for. It's just so like, it's just straight to the pain. And so there's no build up. You know, like you start a tattoo, it's like, oh, okay, it's a bit of a scratch and it starts getting a bit bad. This is literally like, you ready? Sweet. So it's bad.
You know, with a tattoo, after like 10, 15 minutes, it does start to go a little bit numb.
Nah.
You're getting that? No.
there's not much
I'm
relief.
speaking as a novice.
Yeah, no, there's not much relief. Sometimes I think there is, and then I'm like, no, there's not. So I haven't had mine done for a while because they hurt.
Yeah.
So they really, really hurt. But
any advice for anyone wanting to get a palm tattoo? What do they need to do to prepare, and what's the healing like? It
depends on how mental your hands are. Like, I tattooed a guy who was a tree surgeon, and he had really calloused hands. Like the whole bit of his hand was really thick, and he had like really big lumps. And like a month before his appointment, he started moisturising every day. Would wear like proper gloves to work and all this stuff, and it made it a lot easier to get it in. So if your hands are crazy, tell me. Don't just turn up with mental thick hands, because it's just common courtesy. But we do ask for like people to send photos of their hands, just because everyone's hands are different as well, like different shapes, and I can see, done a lot of palms, I know what sort of skin's going to be like what. So yeah, I guess moisturize, but then it doesn't matter too much. Like if I tell you someone's hand and it's really soft, that comes with its own problems, because I can just blow it out too quick.
Okay.
So excuse me. Yeah.
Is there anything in particular that they need to kind of prepare, or they need to be aware of for the day? I guess you're not going to be here for that long. What do you tend to do? Like so you say about an hour to an hour and a half for each palm.
Yeah.
What you charging? What's that take like?
Time wise, so if it's like this much of your palm, like maybe it's like 300, 400. If it's bigger, if it's started to go up, it's like 450, like 5.
Mm-hmm. Do most people tend to get both done at the same time?
Sometimes, if people are traveling, they're like, I'm going to get both. But I think if the option's there not to get both, they don't, because, and we advise not to, because it's a lot, and you get through one, and then the second is a real struggle. Yeah. And you don't want to do it. They don't want to start it. They don't want to do it. But if they've traveled from another country or something, then they're pretty keen to do it. But if you're from down the road, they don't want to do it. And I don't blame them.
I'll see never.
Yeah.
And the healing?
The healing, preparing for the healing is, if you can take a few days off, perfect. Try and do as little as possible. I had the best heal ever. Definitely my favourite tattoo I've ever done was on a friend, Callum, who got.
Flash this up on the screen.
Oh yeah, get it up there. It was a skull with a chrysanthemum, and we outlined it, and then we let it heal, and then we coloured it in, and he literally looked after it so well. He came back 8 weeks later, and he still had a scab on it. And I was like, as if you've still got a scab on it. And it wasn't doing anything. That was not healing anything else. It was just hanging on.
He's just been super careful.
Yeah, he's just been so careful with it. And I was like, it's because everyone was like, again, like, oh, that's not going to heal. Colour's not going to heal. And it's healed like amazing, which is good. But I also feel like he's giving people false hope, because not everyone's like Callum. Not everyone's looking after it. Like
everyone thinks, like you said at the beginning of this, that it's like one pass, that's it. And I don't literally won't look after them at all.
Yeah.
And it's like, it is a collaboration.
Yeah.
Am I right in thinking that you can't use a mag and then it has to be dotted in with colour?
Yeah, I've not used a mag. I would like to try, but also I know it's probably not. I just see it's going to chew it up. It's just going to chew up the skin. With the dot.
Why? Because of the voltage that you're having to run it at? Because
the mag's going to be like that. And to either get it in, whatever you're doing, you're just going to chew up this dead skin.
This is packing or shading?
What, on the palm?
Yeah,
anything with a mag is just going to fuck it up, I think. Really? Because with the dots and the lines are going, if that's the skin, the dots are going straight in, depositing it there, coming out, and that's done. So the next dot there, sweet. And then the next one there, sweet. If it's a mag, it's like just chewing it all up. I've seen a guy do it. I think his Instagram is Hood, and he's blacked out a palm with a mag, and it looked sick
fresh
when it was done, and then it's healed, and it's not healed very well. And even in that thing, he was like, "Oh, we're just experimenting with it," and then he's gone and dotted over the top, and it's now like really good and really dark. But yeah, with the lines, it's just straight in and out. And I do my lines I use the Vlad machines, and they're running really fast. I'm running it on like an 11.4.
What stroke is it? No.
No idea. I don't really know all this stuff. Like the coil machines, so I don't.
Oh, to be fair, yeah. I mean, I'm looking at it from like a rotary perspective.
Yeah,
it's probably different within it with a coil.
I'm hanging it the fuck out, and I'm tuning it. I tune my machines all the time because I feel like that's a really big part of it. It's because I'm listening to my machines and I'm feeling how it's going in, and I can tell if my machine is not running right, it's not gonna heal right. The tattoo's not gonna be very good.
Yeah,
and that can happen like halfway through the tattoo, and it's nothing to do with the quality of the machine. It's with the fact that I'm running it so intensely that if it starts to dull, if the contact screw gets like muddied from hitting too many times, I need to get a file out and just file out that bit on the contact screw, and then see if I need to turn it a little bit to like, because obviously now a sliver of that is gone, so it's very like. And then I need to listen to
who's taught you that? Is that experience?
And I feel like people have shown me stuff like Ben Hansen, who works with Kieran, Ben Perrin now. He is really knowledgeable with coil machines, and he showed me some stuff, and that was cool. A few people have shown me some stuff. I can't think of his names.
It's literally just like, pulling bits from all over the place. You know?
Dave Bryant, who is a machine builder, I once messaged him and was like, man, I don't know what the fuck's going on with my machines. Can I come and see you? And I went up to, I think it was Derby, a few hours train journey, and he was super sweet, and like we just sat and he showed me loads of stuff and he tuned all my machines with me, and that was it. I was just desperate to find someone that could show me some stuff, because no one in my other shops had ever shown me anything. It's just, and I feel like that's a really good bit of advice for anyone, is just, I'd always put it off and felt bad about not being shown how to tune it or not knowing these things. Man, it doesn't matter. If you don't know something, then
ask
or just go for it. I think that's the thing, just go for it, just try it. Fine. Because if you don't try it, then you can't work it out. And then as soon as I started like just messing around with my machines, I was like, you know what? This is working for me. And then I still think like I'm a bit nervous to go on a convention with Vlad because it's like they see me just fucking ragging on their machines.
Why are you using the machine so quick? What are you doing?
Yeah, I feel like they're going to be like, what are you doing? But I mean,
I doubt it, bro. I doubt it. Yeah. I've seen, like, you see at conventions, like there's always just like a big crowd around you, you know, like everyone kind of watching what you're doing. You've got your head touch on and like you're in the zone, bro.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. I saw you at Brighton. Have you ever messed about with other machines, like a Cubin or anything like that?
Yeah, I use a Cubin sometimes for the freeliners because they are pretty good. They're pretty nippy. So for the frees, they're pretty good.
What needles are you using?
I'm using just Killer Ink own brand needles, like bug pin frees, bug pin 5s, and then just their normal ones, and they're really good. And they're almost not the best quality, which is good because when you look at them in the pack, there's almost like a really fine free, like stupidly fine one, which is what I'm looking for. And then there's like a really big one, or there's like a 5 that I need a tight 5 this time, but maybe on a different tattoo I need like a different one. So they've got like there's a range within. And I don't know if that's just because I just like them. They're 10 quid a box. Sweet. Like 35 quid for Quadrant, or I used to just use Quadrant, and I like their needles, but
so now this is something which I always want to know, and it's like, is this stuff, are these big brands, are they worth the extra money? Because I'm a big fan of Killer Ink. And I mean, I'll stand by Magic Moon. I say it on every episode, I love that, like, they've been in the industry a long time. And this stuff is on the cheap side, but for me, it's like some of the most consistent and the sharpest. And
Magic Moon, yeah, I used to use Magic Moon. Loz Thomas used to use Magic Moon. I think he still might.
Is it? Are there more expensive brands? Are they better? Are the more expensive machines better?
I think it's whatever works for you. I used to love, like, man, I was saying earlier, I will buy anything and everything to test everything out to know if I'm using the best stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's completely whatever you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
It's almost, that's the thing, is that I don't feel like people can advise you, but if you say to someone, this is the needle, this is the best needle, this is going to make your work better, it's up to them. People have said that to me before, and I'm like, this is shit, I'm not using this because it doesn't work for me. It is the perfect needle for them, but it's not for me. So you got to try it for yourself. But then also I feel like some companies start really good and then they get the quality dips. But then once they get a bit bigger. So yeah, I mean, I've fluctuated from when I was using cartridges and that, I would Magic Moon and Quadron. We found some really good like Spanish ones called, we're never going to get them back in stock now because I'm telling everyone about them. Did I give you one? I should have given you one.
No,
so I'll give you some before you go. They're, what are they called? Tsunami.
Okay.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Sergio found them through our guest artist, Peter. And everyone in the shop uses them now. And talk about sponsorships, we are going to message them, I think, because they're so good. And we're literally telling everyone about them. Anyone that comes here, I'm like, try this needle out. Because it just, Sergio used them and he was like, it's changed his tattooing. And he had to do a tattoo without one before his order came. And he was so upset because he was like, oh, just the quality could have been better. And he was really upset. And they're really, really good.
I think you were messing about with some of the grey wash as well. Was there a different brand of grey wash maybe that?
I use...
No, not grey wash, I'm talking about black.
Oh yeah, so there's this Eclipse Black. I use Dynamic, always use Dynamic. I don't think there's anything wrong with Dynamic.
Yeah.
But we had another guest artist, Sarah, come, and she showed me this and she was like, oh, there's less like nickel in it and all this, like, was really bigging up this brand. And then they have like randomly messaged us. So yeah, I'm going to try that out and see. I'm always wary though, because the palms take 6 to 8 weeks to heal. I don't want to start doing 6 to 8 weeks worth of appointments and then they come back and they're all weird or something. Yeah.
I doubt it though.
No, I doubt it. I've used it and it's really good.
I feel like you're so in tune with it now, you know, you've got the experience that you'll know straight away if it's right, like if the consistency's off or something.
No, it's very, very similar to Dynamic. And I like Dynamic, but this stuff was really good.
So, talk me through one of your like most recent pieces, maybe like a interesting backstory or client. I think I noticed like you'd just done like a pair of feet recently.
Yeah. I just did the soles of the feet, which I've done before, but this was cool because I've tattooed, the client's name's Danny and she comes from Austria and she's committed. Like I've done both like coloured both her palms. She's got like a peony, chrysanthemum. And that was like the first colour palm, proper bit of colour I ever did. So that was cool. And she's pretty dedicated. So she's like, I want to do my feet. And she wants to colour them in as well. So we were like, yes, yeah, she's
crazy.
She's unreal. She's like really, really strong and doesn't move and is good stuff. So yeah, she wanted to get her feet. She wanted like yin yang sort of koi on her feet. So yeah, she came and we did the design. She wants it quite detailed, which was quite a lot. So it's like 2 koi with like the world map within the scales, which I wanted to try and talk her out of a little bit. But I think when we actually did it, I was like, yeah, we can make this work. So that's what we did. And then the next day, the backstory, I'm not sure why she wanted to get it really. I think someone asked her on one of the comments and she was like, just to get it filled. Like she's on a mission to get filled. Cool, she knows that I can do her feet. So we did it. And we did it both in the same day. And then she came back the next day and got her fingers done as well. And we like coloured in green leaves and like 2 little bees as well on her fingers, which was just, she's super tough. And she came from Austria. She brought a wheelchair with her. so she didn't have to walk on it. And yeah, she's very, very dedicated. So she left on the second day with a wheelchair, padded up hands. And I was like, how? I was like, do you want me to take you to the station? Do you want me to walk you to the underground? She's like, I've got to work it out somehow. And I was like, okay. So like wheeled her out the shop.
Down the escalator.
Yeah, see ya. But yeah, she was...
Bro,
yeah.
that is another level of commitment.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, she's done well. And I think I've sort of not wanted to do a lot of feet because I've done a few before and the people's feet have been really thick and it sort of put me off. But I have done Annie's and Annie's got quite a soft foot and it went really well. So sort of, it's very similar to the palm, but almost quite different levels of extreme. Like the curve of the arch of the foot is really soft because it never gets to touch the floor, so it's quite soft. But then the pad of your foot and the heel of your foot is walked on all the time, so it's just a big callus. So yeah, it's just if you have very thick skin there, the design sort of needs to work with what you've got.
You can't have a load of detail on those bits, basically.
No, it needs to be fairly simple, unless you've got very, very soft skin. But even with Annie's got pretty soft skin. But I feel we did a few touch-ups just to like make sure it was really in there. So I think I've done like 4 touch-ups on someone's heel.
Yeah.
And it's not, I don't want to be doing that many touch-ups, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's not, if it's unrealistic, then I don't want to do it. If it's a palm tattoo and it's just a touch-up, then I'm very happy to do the touch-ups. But if it is a case of just like, we're just touching it up a million times, it's maybe just, that's why, well, I mean, we ask for people to send their hands, but I feel a bit weird asking people to send their feet every time. So otherwise we just have a big catalogue of people's feet. But I kind of do need to see your feet. So yeah, I was saying like people are pretty into feet. So people making like what are they called? What's the girls? What's the
OnlyFans?
OnlyFans, yeah. They made that OnlyFans because of their feet. Because people are like, I'll send you money. There you go.
That could be that could be the side hustle.
Yeah,
it's like
that's not bad.
Hands and feet photos on OnlyFans. Who'd love it?
Yeah,
I'd be queuing up, mate.
Yeah.
Bro, yeah, what a good chat, man. I've learned so much stuff. I've probably still got a ton of questions, but like, I'm just going to badger you for so long.
Yeah.
I guess really what is left to ask is if people do want to get their palms and feet done, where can they find you? How long have they got to wait? And are you going to be kind of around at conventions and guest spots this year? And if so, where?
Best way to get at me is to send an email to Luke A. Ashley at Luke A. Ashley tattoo@outlook.com. And don't forget the A because someone's scamming people with my email address and it's really bad. So don't forget the A it's Luke A. Ashley. But yeah, just send an email and then we will get back to you. Annie does my emails and she does go through everything with me and we will get back to everyone. I think at the moment, because we're just trying to plan a trip to Korea, we want to go to Korea and visit our friends. We're booked until the end of the year. And I think normally we have a big waiting list and I'll book everyone in no matter what it is. But I think for next year, I want to try a different approach of booking people in. I want to see what their ideas are rather than just you've been waiting the longest. And I still want to like appreciate that if they have been waiting a long time and want to do it. But I want to be a bit more selective with what I'm tattooing. We are going to Rome convention in September and I'm going to the Milan convention in October. Guest spots, I'm going to Legacy to see Mike and Chris Stockings and the gang.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's at the end of August. And that's it for now. But I love guesting. I love doing conventions. I love getting to see people and visiting my mates and that. So, and we have like a lot of guests come here, so it's kind of nice to like go and like, it's nice to go and see their shops and like,
yeah, it's networking, man. I feel like that's like part of it. Like I couldn't imagine being a tattoo artist just working on my own.
Yeah, I think I spoke to some people and they're like, oh, conventions are like just for when you start to get yourself out there. And it's like, it was never really about that for me. I've worked like small conventions, worked really big conventions, and I don't think it matters either way. Like I've met some of like my really good friends at like pretty dog shit convention, to be fair, but I'm still really good friends with him, and there's always a positive to come out of stuff. So yeah, I love conventions. I love guesting. I really like meeting people and continuing that friendship if we get on in that. So
nice.
Yeah.
So the only other thing I wanted to say then, rounding it up, is what do you think that the industry needs more of moving forwards? And there's another question I want to ask.
Yeah.
That in a minute.
What does the industry need more of?
Yeah.
What does the industry need more of? Have each other's backs a bit, I guess. I don't know. I feel like there's so much. There's so many different avenues in tattooing. Like, the industry is such a broad umbrella. Like, there's some shops, really traditional shops, old school shops, newer contemporary places. And I just think there's sometimes just so far, like you can choose whatever part of tattooing you want to be involved in, you can do that. If you just want to paint and just have a private studio, you're still part of the industry. Like I'm sure you still know people, but if you want to be in like a really big studio in America or biggest studio in London or something like that, then that's also for you. I don't really know what it needs more of. I think just like acceptance of like, let everyone do their thing. Like if it doesn't have, tattooing doesn't have to be, well, that's not proper tattooing. That's not this tattooing. It's like, well, maybe to you, mate. But if someone just wants to do freehand stuff all the time, sweet. If it's just, not maybe just a bit less criticism of what someone else's vision is of what they want to make tattooing, which is, this is what we wanted to make, so we've made this, and this, I'm sure people don't like it, and that's fair enough. Like I've not made it for you, do you know what I mean? I made it for me. I made it for the people I want to share it with. So yeah, don't know. Danced around that question.
No, not at all. Stuff. No, mate. So acceptance and
yeah. I think it's just such a good tone. Is just such a good thing. Help each other out. Yeah, and like I think you've said on before, like it's nice when people share how they do stuff and the equipment they use, and it's nice. Like I said, I would have loved this as a kid. I would have loved to listen to podcasts like this as a kid, to just like soak up all this information. And I think it's nice that this is accessible to everyone. And as an artist, I love listening to it. As I'm sure like lots of teenagers that are like, oh, I want to be a tattoo artist, they're going to like listen to stuff and be like inspired. And that's great, because then they're going to be the new tattooing. Tattooing's changed so much in the last like 10 years, 20 years. Like, what's it going to be like?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah. Where is it going to be, and where are you going to be? What's your vision for yourself and for this shop in the next 5 and then the next 10 years?
I'm very happy that we're open now. I think we've got a big space. We can do a lot of stuff with it. Want to have a really nice, happy shop. I want to be here I'm very happy tattooing still. Like I'm still tattooing 4 days a week, 3 days a week. And I still want to be tattooing. The shop, the idea was the shop was never for me to stop tattooing or take a step back. It was to make a space that I'm happy in and I feel comfortable in and other people can feel comfortable in. So I still want to be tattooing. I want to tattoo until my back fucking finally breaks, which is probably close, to be fair. But yeah, I still want to be tattooing. The visions for the shop, yeah, I don't know. Quite happy not knowing as well. Quite happy. Like Annie's got a lot of ideas. I'm coming at it with a lot of like tattoo vision. Annie's coming at it with a lot of like other like side of it, like
business side of things,
like fashiony stuff, like stuff that she wants to get more involved in. Like she's designing like she's doing the branding, a lot of the branding stuff, like all the designs. So she's got her own ideas, and then like combining the tattoo side of it is really, really nice. And I think that sums the shop up as well. It's just like lots of me and Annie coming together with it. So yeah, not sure. There's not really a concrete plan. I think we're just taking it as it is, seeing how fast it's progressing, seeing how slow other sides of it are, and just trying to keep all the levels sweet and just make sure everyone's happy is the main thing.
That's it. And it's like it's a difficult task, you know. Creatives and making sure that everyone, you know, I think it was Lewis Holmes that I had on the episode said like he wants to make sure that he has a space where people can just come in and not have to worry about a thing, you know, and can thrive creatively.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's
for
aim,
everyone.
I guess,
for the clients, for the artists as well. Everyone needs to feel
well, from where I'm sat, bro, you've already achieved that, you know, and you should be really fucking proud of yourself.
Sweet.
Yeah, smashing it. You were left a question by the previous guest, as is the case with all of the episodes. I've
got my question ready.
Okay, well, I'm going to give you the one that was left from the previous guest before that, and that was...
Have you ever taught an apprentice, and would you feel comfortable enough to teach one how to tattoo? That's my question.
That's a very on topic question, to be fair. So, I guess the guy, my friend Stu, that I did my first ever palm tattoo on, he was the apprentice at the shop, but he was just doing his own thing. He was not really being shown much by anyone. And then he came with me. He was the apprentice at the shop in Sydenham, and then he came with me to the shop in Bromley, but only under the condition that he was my apprentice. So he was my apprentice. He was not my apprentice. They were like, "Oh, you need to tell him to do this and tell him to do that." I was like, "He's actually my best friend. I'm not telling him to clean the floors or that he needs to go and do this many drawings or do this stuff." I was like, "He's his own man. He's his own human. Like, if he's going to put the effort in, he'll get what he wants. It's his thing." So I've not had an apprentice. I did show him a lot. I would really care for him, and I would like, he's tattooed like loads of tattoos on me. He's tattooed me loads of times, and I would show him stuff, and I really think I really enjoy showing someone how to do something. I think like I talk to Annie about stuff all the time, and she's not super, like, she don't know what I'm talking about, but I like explaining it to her, almost like enjoy that. So haven't had one. I think we are looking for one. We will be looking for one, because at the moment we don't have one here.
That is a big opportunity for someone.
Yeah, and I kind of want to make it a big opportunity as well. I kind of like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to really like put a lot of effort into that, and want them to be committed, and just I want to see some passion behind it. I don't just want to just like, oh yeah, I want to be tattoo artist. Like, so does everyone. Like, it's a tough thing, and if I'm going to put my effort in, I'm really going to put my effort in. So I want the same back, you know. So
how do you go about finding someone?
I have no idea. I'm kind of nervous because we've had people come through, and it's hard. It's like breaking someone's heart, and I'm always like really, really nice, but we haven't been looking for one, and I feel like I'm always pretty nice. But yeah, it's kind of hard to tell someone it's not like, then we're looking for someone that hasn't been doing tattoos as well, because lots of people come through with their pretty sketchy tattoos, and I'm like, whoa,
scratching and stuff. It's all bad habits that you have to try and erase.
Yeah, and I mean, but in the same breath, I didn't really get taught properly, you know. Like, I'm not gonna slag anyone off for like scratching or just trying, because it is a difficult industry to break. So if that's how you've started, fair play. Like, as long as you're doing stuff clean and you're trying your best, then it's whatever. But if I'm going to show someone, I want to be able to show them my way, which is not the right way, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But my way of doing things, I want to be able to show that to them and do that. I think a big thing of it is drawing. You need to really enjoy drawing. I know everything's on iPads these days, but you still got to want to draw all the time. If it's on an iPad, if it's on a sketchbook, it doesn't matter. Like, I think it's good to do both, but I haven't used a bit of paper in a long time, to be fair. Rather than making Flash, I don't just sit there with, I got my iPad, I love it. Yeah. So,
mate, I completely agree though. I've just taken someone on who like came to me, like I wasn't really thinking about taking someone on.
Yeah.
And then like she came with like honestly the most like beautifully presented portfolio in this like ultra like slick, thick leather thing. And it was nothing digital. Yeah. It was loads of different mediums and like really well thought out stuff and like loads of passion behind it. And I thought like, do you know what I mean? Like instantly you can see that passion, whereas you can sniff the ones out who are like, I just want to start tattooing and make like money. And it's like this.
But I think that's the thing. That's the thing, is that if they've shown they've put love and energy into like making this nice thing, and they know they've got to hand this thing over to you and be like, this is me in a book, you're going to want to present it nice. If you care about it, you're going to want to present it nice. So
what are you going to do? You're going to open up applications? Or are you just going to wait for it to happen?
I don't know. Black Garden did it. I've been tattooed by Jean Leroux. He does like neo-traditional stuff and he's really, really nice. He's I love him so much. And he did an apprenticeship at Black Garden when Black Garden was around. And I remember when they posted it, I think I was still quite new to tattooing still, and they posted it like it was like, we're looking for an apprentice. You can't have been tattooing and da-da-da, and it was like applicants apply and stuff. And then I saw it was him and I was like, wow, like you're the apprentice. Your artwork is already insane. And then obviously, just went from there, but I'm not sure. And I also don't rate myself that highly, so I'm kind of nervous I know how to draw my stuff, I know how to tattoo my stuff, but I don't know if that is going to go well into someone else. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like there's a lot of that in having an apprentice. Is like, it is a bit of like, here's the stuff.
A lot of it is,
you've got to put the effort in and you've got to work it out how, I'm going to guide you, but you've got to work it out how's best for you. Because
well, I liken it a little bit like driving a car. It's like you can show someone, you can give them the theory and you can show someone how to like what the pedals do, but like they physically have to learn the biting point on the clutch. Right. And it's the same with tattooing, innit? You have to learn what that looks and feels like in the right layer. I mean, if
see how it goes.
Sick.
How are you finding
what a fucking sick opportunity that would be. How am I finding it? I mean, it's early days with Olivia and Amos, but it's cool, man. It's good.
No, I mean, I'm excited to do it. We've been sort of putting it off because we don't want to just have someone here that's like, just like, we didn't want to get someone to just do the cleaning or get someone to just do the bits that we needed to do. Like, that is obviously a part of it. We need like, it's all part of it. So we're going to teach you how to clean. We're going to teach you how to do everything. But we didn't want to get someone to just have them here, to not show them, or to just have them as like free labor or something. So, but I think now is like the right time to find someone. So we'll see how it goes.
Sick.
Yeah.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
What's your question for the next guest?
I don't know if this is a shit question, to be fair, but I thought it was pretty good. I didn't even like tell anyone about it. I tried to tell someone, he didn't really respond, but I haven't really thought of another one. I like it. My question was, what is a small amount of money that you've spent on something that you use all the time? And it was like, that was a good, like you go to dinner, you spend 30 quid and it's gone forever.
It's gone.
But then, so my one would be
What's the best investment on the smallest
My
amount of
bag.
money?
I've got a bag and it's sick. So good. It's like this big, but it doesn't, I mean, it's kind of nerdy, but I can
Is it
get
a Pokemon bag?
Huh?
Is it a Pokemon bag?
No, that would be too much. It's just like it's just like an Adidas bag. But you could just fit so much shit in there.
Yeah.
Like Annie we're just like guest spot, it's perfect. And it was like 30 quid. We were in Singapore and it was 30 quid.
Yeah.
And I think since I've been to Singapore, I've used it every day.
Yeah.
It's great. And I was on the train. I was listening to your podcast on the train home. And I was like, yeah, that's the one. I was just looking at my bag like, God, that bag is sick. And then I was like...
But this is it, man. And you look at the price of stuff now. And like I've spent some ridiculous money on some stuff.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You go out into go to dinner in Mayfair, man. You spend do you know what I mean? A ridiculous amount of money and it's gone the next day.
Right.
I'm trying to think what I've like. Do you know what? I'm a right nerd. I'm really into my cars.
Yeah.
And I clean my car religiously every Sunday. Both mine and my partner's car on the Sunday. I like valet the whole thing.
Nice.
And I bought myself a little Hoover thing.
Oh, yeah.
Which plugs into the cigarette lighter in the car.
Oh, yeah.
Because my Dyson didn't quite have a
Couldn't
small
get
enough
nothing
nozzle.
crannies.
Yeah, so I needed like a thingy.
Okay.
It was probably about 20 quid.
Yeah.
And it's running forever.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get
So
a weekly, I get the use out of that.
Yeah. There you go.
That's what it's about. That's what life's about. It's the little things.
Little nice bits.
Yeah, man.
30 quid.
Trust me.
Gosh.
Bro, honestly, I've loved it. Like, I've had such a good day, like,
me too.
last couple of days, man. Honestly, I'm so grateful for you having us down here.
It's so good to have
What a
you.
great conversation, bro.
Sweet.
And like, yeah, I've looked up to you as an artist for such a long time. You are absolutely smashing it. And like, unless you've been living under a fucking rock, like, people will have heard your name in the industry.
Yeah.
You are a pioneer no matter what you say. And like, keep doing what you're doing, bro. Thank you so much.
Appreciate
Sir.
it. Appreciate
Thank you
everything.
so much.
You're welcome, mate. Sweet. Nice.
Thanks for listening. I hope you've enjoyed the podcast this week. Don't forget to hit the bell icon and the follow button to be notified of every new release wherever you listen to your podcasts. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button on YouTube as well. I'm Alex Lloyd, and this is the 21st Century Tattoo. Thanks for listening.